Hello there, welcome. My name is Hideo Bonseca and I'm an incoming freshman at Yale, probably going to major in either mechanical or electrical engineering. And in this video, I want to go over some of the essays, well, literally all the essays that got me into Yale. So that'll be all the supplementals that Yale requires. I applied for the 2028 class, so for the 2024 admissions cycle. And yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. But before that, a quick word from a company that really helped me throughout this entire process, that genuinely provided value for me and I think can provide value to you. I don't promote brands I don't believe, so trust me, ESSAYS got something up their sleeve. What's better than a company that's got my back, boosting my SAT score from 1250 to 1560 on the track. Their platform is the real deal, it's plain to see. Founded by Sanford minds, top-notch and true. Like having a personal tutor just for you. With AI models, they chart your path ahead, mapping out practice, ensuring nothing's left unsaid. No subpar tutors, no struggling alone. ESSAYS the key, their platform set in stone. For you, my viewers, a sweet deal's in store. $10 off your first month. Just enter Filippo10 at the core. This is gold for your SAT prep. Don't let it slip away. Sign up with ESSAYS and start acing today. Okay, back to the video. Something to know about Yale before I begin with the first supplemental is that they have a lot of essays. It's a lot. Some of them are quite short, like literally 35 words, but most of them are quite extensive, so be prepared to write a lot for Yale, but I think that's also a good thing because it truly allows you to, in a way, transmit your voice, where some schools have one or maybe two. It's really hard to come across as a well-rounded, interesting person, or perhaps a focused person in some area or whatever you want to showcase if you only have one or two essays of 200 words each, right? I think Yale is a fantastic school if you have a lot to say and really want to demonstrate everything you're doing with your life, which is super interesting. So yeah, without further ado, the first prompt was, tell us about a topic or idea that excites you and is related to one or more academic areas you selected above. Why are you drawn to it? So I selected engineering as my area, just for context. This one was 200 words max. It was 6 p.m., a Tuesday. The 3 10-foot wide, floor-to-ceiling whiteboards at the back of my school's library were filled to the brim with an intricate melange of differential delay systems, derivations, and probabilistic simulations that took me way too long to conjure. I'd just been assigned the dreaded internal assessment for IB higher level mathematics. 20 pages and infamous for requiring deep exploration. I knew it'd be challenging. However, I also knew that to construct a coherent mathematical model to deduce optimal flux densities for multi-lane ramp merges on Costa Rican highways, I needed to take a step back. Papers by Kaku, Einstein, and Hawking taught me that the intrinsic patterns of the universe remain constant. Hence, I knew I'd have to make symmetry my guiding principle, tuning into the very language of the cosmos. After 5 hours, the intricate dance of rush hour traffic, seemingly random, now followed a rhythm I could intuitively understand. An observer, peering into the gratuitous madness on the walls, would likely think that a post-apocalyptic order had befallen her school. Conversely, whether in the library's quiet solitude or with future friends at Davenport, questioning universal symmetries has taught me to continuously ask, why? Exploring complexities, like engineering, further. So before I continue with the rest of the supplementals, I just want to quickly point out a few things from this one. So first off, as you can see, I am utilizing italics wherever I can to emphasize certain words. I am making constant references to the prompt. So I say, like, at the end, exploring complexities, parentheses, like engineering further. I didn't have to include that like engineering, but since the prompt itself was asking related to the academic area you selected above, I felt that was important, just to tie back. And also, funnily enough, where I mentioned Davenport, that's one of the 14 residential colleges at Yale. Guess what? I was placed at Davenport. I was notified a few weeks ago that I was placed at Davenport, and so could this essay have played a role in that? Certainly. I think they read your essays when they're placing you. Like once you've been admitted and they're placing you in colleges and whatnot, they go back and read your essays, and so I think that literally placed me in Davenport. Just including snippets like that to show that you're really interested in the school. You're not just reusing these essays. Sure, I probably reused this type of essay with this theme for a bunch of different schools, but I tailored it specifically for what Yale was looking for and included little bits and bobs that Yale would love, like Davenport and whatnot, and tying it specifically to Yale's prompt, which is always going to be different from all the other schools, regardless of how much it may fit into a certain mold. Right, moving on to the second supplemental, the Why Yale essay. And the more extended prompt is, what is it about Yale that has led you to apply? And they asked for this one in 125 words or fewer. And for this one, I was like, okay, that's a pretty small word count. How can I include as much content here as possible? Because Why Yale is such an important essay, right? The Why School essay is incredibly important. So I decided to write a poem, and here it is. In a world where engineering construct falters, flawed, it often forsakes altruistic altars. Profits prevail, overshadowing a mindful creed, yet I, on a different path, choose to proceed. To build nanotechnology, cutting edge. A cognizant humanist stance is my pledge. Hence, my application to Yale. Its research focus distinct. Interdisciplinary, a realm to truly link. Fond of the low student-to-faculty ratios embrace. For Yale, engineering is a haven, possibilities grace. To become a global citizen, keenly aware, maximize potential, Yale lays it bare. In the campus's symphony, cultures interlace. I see my story mirrored, a diverse embrace. My home, a microcosm of Yale's thrum, the melting pot of dreams, possibilities hum. Perhaps one day I'll join the community's flow in a relentless pursuit to strive and grow. Yeah, with that one, everything is very purposeful. Not a single word is wasted. I'm using semicolons everywhere I can. Since it's a poem, I'm making what I think are clever references that I thought could get the admissions officers laughing, or at least being like, not nice. Like, for example, when I say, for Yale, engineering is a haven. Yale, obviously, is in New Haven. And so you want to be doing things like that. Just remember, these are human beings reading your application. Make it fun for them. Like, I genuinely think this poem was a nice change for them to read. I'm not saying go ahead and write a poem for everyone that's watching this video in years to come, because then it's not going to be something unique to you. Do something true to you. But as you can see, I'm constantly referencing things that matter to me. The fact that I believe engineering must be focused on a humanist pursuit. You'll see that I reference this topic in multiple supplementals to come for Yale. And so they see this constant theme. I also reference at my home a microcosm of Yale's thrum. Why? Because in another essay, as you'll see, I mentioned the diverse environment I grew up in. And so you see how I'm constantly telling a story and linking everything together. That's exactly what they're looking for. And you'll see that it forms a very consistent story about myself and what I want to transmit to the admissions officers reading my application. Let's continue on with the short takes. So it says, please respond in no more than 200 characters, approximately 35 words or fewer, to each of the following questions. And so these are really tough. You might think, oh, wonderful, 35 words. No. The shorter, the worse. Trust me on this one. And you'll see me trying to use semicolons, really short sentences, single word sentences. Be creative here. They're looking for that, to your ability to adapt to unfamiliar situations, like a 35-word response. It's super short, trust me. And so first one is, what inspires you? Super open-ended, kind of crazy. But what I responded in 198 characters, so 2 off of the limit, was synthesizable, inherently moldable, purely magical. I see raw power in mathematical symmetry. From any angle or rearrangement, a choreographed dance underlying the world's ostensible chaos prevails. That was the first one. As you'll see in the final essay, I referenced this theme again, the mathematical symmetry thing. Again, telling that story. Keep a real eye on that when you're doing your own essays for any school, but especially top schools like this. Second one is, if you could teach any college course, write a book, or create an original piece of art of any kind, what would it be? And so in 198 characters, I said, I'm running. Below, my feet sizzle in the tropical heat. So do the stars above, majestically lining the night. From fusion to black holes, my awe of our universe is palpable. I teach astrophysics. Here I'm connecting things that are important to me, like for example, the fact that I love to run and train for triathlon and things. I'm hinting at that right there. And so they'll see it on my activity section on the Common App and here again. So they'll be like, oh wow, cleverly tied to astrophysics. And so trying to fit as many things as possible without making it feel crowded and forced, right? You want to let it flow and tell the story of your life in a natural fashion. Thirdly, other than a family member, who is someone who has had a significant influence on you? What has been the impact of their influence? I responded, Mr. Simpson, a joyous South Carolinian. Your focus on optimism and reason in 8th grade social studies still echoes. I still make sure it's a great day to be alive is written on all of my classes' boards. So for the last one of these short prompts, the prompt was, what is something about you that is not included anywhere else in your application? I responded, a plane rumbles overhead. Oop, sorry, aviation geek here. I must immediately drop whatever I'm doing, glue my face to my window, and attempt to figure out whether a 737 or A350 soars above. And now, lastly, for the longest prompt that the Yale supplementals offer, it is a 400-word or fewer optional response. I chose number 3. Third one was, reflect on an element of your personal experience that you feel will enrich your college. How has it shaped you? My response was, Dai, dépêche-toi. You're late. Vamos. Boy, I yell back, gasping for air as I throw on the first pair of shoes I can find, hurrying downstairs. This is an all too common occurrence in the Fonseca household. It may concern lighthearted banter over dinner. Other times, possibly more serious conversations on family matters. Or, as depicted, perhaps my mother, grilling me in 4 languages, Italian, French, English, and Spanish, so I don't miss the school bus. Oh, I'm not exaggerating. This really happens. Italian mothers with a touch of decades surrounded by Latina moms don't play around. In fact, it's when I know she means business. My friends are often shocked over hearing what to them must sound like a chaotic cacophony of gibberish. For me, it's pure magic. Advocates for the distinct mental frameworks attainable through learning multiple languages, my parents made this way of interacting second nature at home. Basking in the beauty of their diversity, immersing oneself in a plethora of cultures unlocks entirely new domains of understanding about the world, impossible to achieve otherwise. My upbringing has compelled me to approach problems from unconventional and experimental angles. From programming architecture choices to arguments and career decisions, I've learned to embrace that sometimes it's necessary to question what's deemed normal. Hence, delving deep into the realm of engineering over the years, I've developed a unique point of view. I'm of the unwavering opinion that engineering as a societal construct is, largely, inherently flawed. Yes, controversial. Bear with me. Sadly, this industry often sets aside an altruistic mindset for profits and expediency. Holding especially true for neuroengineering. It's a matter of tremendous irony in a subfield directly interfacing with perhaps the most delicate aspect of the human condition, the brain. Bouncing gently on our disproportionately small necks, this quasi-magical organ remains the driving force propelling our species' continued progress. The architect of our humanity. With both my innate fascination for the brain and the nuanced perspective I've developed while growing up in an environment that values both inherent questioning and human connection, I found a sense of direction for my life and work. Developing cutting-edge, non-invasive neurotechnology to advance the efficiency of our species in a conscious, humanist, and safe fashion. I thus hope to encourage my Yale peers, and others beyond, to disagree with and challenge the status quo. I find it beautiful. After all, who even determined normal in the first place? And there you go. That was the entirety of my Yale supplemental essay repertoire, if you will. I'll be making another video on my Common App essay, the one I sent to all schools. Thank you so much for watching. Again, as a final note, notice how I'm telling a story through everything. Everything connects. I constantly, not forcefully, I think, but constantly am referencing different themes in my life. So the multiculturalism, the passion I have for viewing engineering as a humanist discipline, trying to put in humor here and there, mixing it up with a poem, for example. Do stuff like that. Not exactly what I did, but stuff that will reflect upon you. Tell your story in a way that's fun, that shows who you really are. It sounds cliche, but genuinely, they can tell when you're trying to copy your responses for every school and just get it out of the way and just be generic. They really don't like that, trust me. You may be the greatest student in the world, have all the A's in the world, the best extracurriculars, but if you cannot tell your story in a cohesive fashion that perhaps sparks some laughter in their face, or at least makes them think, wow, this is a really interesting person, that would add a lot to the Yale community, to the Brown community, to the Harvard community, Stanford, MIT, Georgia Tech, Duke, you name it, right? All these different schools are looking for people to contribute to their community. After all, you're going to be there for 4 years. Might as well make the most of it, and so really showcase it. You're amazing people, and you have a lot to say. Just make sure you do. And yeah, stay tuned for more videos on the college application experience, especially now starting my freshman year at Yale. Tons of exciting content planned. Thank you so much to ESSAYS for sponsoring this video. Definitely do check them out. I use them for my own SAT prep, and it was a huge component for me to be able to supplement everything else that I was doing in the application. If you can stand out on your standardized testing, it's one of the best things you can do. Click the link down below, sign up to ESSAYS using my code. Alrighty, see you in a few weeks. Bye bye.